My name's Nils O'Donoghue, and I'm a partner here in the Regulatory and Crime team at Chadwick Lawrence. One of the things we have done for many years at Chadwick Lawrence is provide sports clubs with immigration law advice. So this would be where sports clubs wish to bring over elite players and head coaches and assistant coaches, etc., to live and work here within sports clubs on a professional basis in the UK. Gradually over the years, we've extended this practice to businesses who wish to sponsor migrants down what is now known as the skilled worker route. There is no doubt that post-Brexit, because there is no freedom of movement between the UK and the European Union, that more employers than ever are looking to ascertain what is called a sponsorship licence, which enables UK employers to sponsor a potential migrant to live and work in the UK. So I just wanted to briefly talk today as part of the Monday Morning Dispatch about what a sponsorship licence is, how you apply for a sponsorship licence, and the various different pitfalls that we see employers going through and how to best avoid them. So in terms of what a sponsorship licence actually is, a sponsorship licence grants permission to a UK employer to sponsor European Union and non-European Economic Area skilled workers to work for an employer within the UK. The sponsorship licence is valid for 4 years, and at the end of that period, if you do successfully apply for a sponsorship licence and get the 4-year licence, you will have an option to extend it at the end of that 4-year period. There is no doubt that as a result of Brexit, there are more employers than ever who are wanting to get sponsorship licences and thereafter sponsor workers to work within the UK. As a result of Brexit, the free movement of persons between the EU and the UK has stopped, and the sponsorship licence therefore now applies to EU workers, European Economic Area workers, non-European Union economic workers, and Swiss nationals as well. So that's quite a group of people, some of which previously had the right to come here and work in the UK as under the free movement of persons principles that are part of EU law, that can no longer do so, and can only do so if an employer has a sponsor licence and the person goes through successfully the visa process. So in terms of why you might need to apply for a sponsorship licence, it might be that you're reliant on a migrant workforce due to a lack of skilled UK workers in that particular type of business. Or on the other hand, you may have identified an individual who lives, for example, in Spain, who you could previously have just brought over to the UK under free movement principles that were applicable to the UK because of EU law, but now are no longer applicable. Regardless, however, of why you want the sponsorship licence, it is important that you apply for the licence correctly to avoid rejections of the licence, which may halt your business development. In terms of how to apply, this is done online, and you've got to make sure, first of all, that you meet at least the basic requirements. And the basic requirements are having a UK presence, so an office within the UK, actively trading and operating lawfully within the UK, and that you have, as a business, no unspent criminal convictions for immigration offences and also certain other offences such as fraud and money laundering. So there are certain basic requirements that you should ensure that you meet before you even think about applying for a sponsorship licence. As I said earlier, the application process is online, and there is a form that must be completed correctly and accurately, and there's certain evidence that UK Visas and Immigration will expect you as a business to email to them at the end of that form. The type of evidence that they expect you to send will depend on what evidence you have available and the type of business that you are, but it's certainly important that you get this evidence together before you make the application, because there is a limited window, as I'll explain a bit later on, of when you can actually send this evidence along to UK Visas and Immigration. There is also a fee that's payable, and this depends on the type of organisation that you are and also how many people you employ. So if you're a charity, there is a certain exemption that you may qualify, but generally businesses are classed as either small or big, with a small business being required to pay £536 per application and a large business £1,476. We do see quite a few employers running into difficulty when attempting to complete the sponsorship licence form online. Our recommendation is always get advice before you apply. Many applications are rejected due to simple errors which can be avoided. Any small errors in the application will result in either a failure to get a sponsorship license or having to completely reapply and start from the beginning effectively. Additionally, as I said earlier, there are certain time restraints. Once you have made the application, you'll be sent an email stating that certain evidence, as I mentioned earlier, needs to be sent to UK Visa and Immigration. This must be emailed, the PDFs must be attached in a certain way, and you must send this evidence within 5 days. If you do not do that, the application will not be accepted. Failure to comply with that timescale and therefore is fatal, and a new application must be made. That's the most common error that we see. So it is important that you gather the evidence that is required to be sent with a sponsorship license in advance. Hopefully that's given you a quick rundown of what a sponsorship license is. It gives you the ability to sponsor UK workers. It is quite a convoluted, complex process, and we at Chadwick Lawrence stand by here to help your business should you require assistance with applying for a sponsorship license. I hope this has helped, and if you do have any further queries relating to immigration law, please do contact myself, that's Nils O'Donoghue, or my colleague Nyla Hussain. Thank you.